I think we'll start. It's already 9:03. Let's start. Okay. So I think all of you can hear me. I think Ronak, can you hear?
Yes, sir. Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. Okay. So make sure that your microphone is in mute whenever you are not speaking. So you can stop me at any point of time. Okay. Unlike the last class where there's a lot of things which I talked about and I waited for your reactions. Here at any point of time you can stop me. You can unmute yourself and just speak. If I hear any of your voices, I'll stop, and your voice can be heard by the rest of the class. Let's look at it as if it's a ordinary class. You unmute, ask the question, and we will take it up for discussion. Maybe somebody else can also come in and talk about it. So, but then try and talk one at a time. If there are 2-3 people talking, then it becomes very difficult. That's all. So anytime unmute, come in and talk. Okay, there's absolutely no problem. Let it be just like any other class. Right. So what I'll do now is I'll take off from what we talked on that day. We talked about for people who were there in the last class, I talked about two things. I talked about gray skills and the black and white skills, and how it becomes very important to build the gray skills. And today, what we're going to look at is the gray skills, how to build the gray muscle. And I've also talked about how I am kind of very partial to the whole concept of looking at fundamentals and working on the fundamentals, so that anything that happens in the actual CAD you'll be able to figure out and solve. So I'll just try. So what we talked on that day was basically about the gray skills. So when it comes to verbal, especially, can you see the whiteboard, Ronak? The whiteboard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
I can
fine.
see, sir.
Right. So see the reading comprehension. Reading comprehension is actually 24 out of 100 questions. The CAT. Okay, which is about 24%. It's a huge area, and this is an area where you can get a lot of questions correct. So it is actually a very high scoring section. Okay, like it is 24 out of 34 as far as verbal is concerned, but out of the 100 questions, it is 24 questions. So this is a very important area. And what we saw is there are two aspects to it. One is a comprehension. Okay, and this is something a lot of people who are good at English are very good at comprehending. They understand what is happening, but those skills alone are not enough to solve CAT problems. So what you require is something known as critical reasoning. Okay, critical reasoning. Now, critical reasoning combined together, they are like two streams. It's like saying, okay, you're an extremely good, you're a good cricket player. You know how to play all the shots. You know how to play forward defense, backward defense, start, pull, all those things. That's what happens here. Okay, but at the same time, you need to build your, let's say, you need to go to the gym, build your stamina, run. So these things happen. So both these things together make you an extremely good player as far as RC is concerned. You have one area weak, and then you'll find that your RCA actually goes for a toss. Okay. So what we will do is today we will start with comprehension. Critical reasoning is something we will do the subsequent sessions. we'll require about 4 or 5 sessions here and about 4 or 5 sessions here. And that, like I said, we will try and cover all these sessions in the initial 4 or 5 weeks, so that for people who are not there in the previous class, I talked about how the verbal skills are actually circular in nature. In the sense, it is like learning how to play cricket. The coach will teach you the basic shots, like the cut, the defense, the pull, the sweep, all those things in the first 3 months. So which means all the shots. And then what happens is, then you start doing something known as net practice. And then you start playing matches. So over a period of time, all these shots start becoming better and better and better, and you eventually become a good player. So this is how the only way to improve reading comprehension. You have to know all the skills up front, and then start with your rigorous practice, so that each of these skills become better and better over a period of time. So, and that's what I said also. Unlike quants, where you study geometry for 2 days, you start solving geometry problems. This does not happen in comprehension. It'll take 2-3 months of serious practice on the basic skill, by which time you'll naturally find that your comprehension is improving, your accuracy is improving, and you are able to solve. Initially, you were able to solve only 2 RCs. Now you're able to do 3 RCs. Your accuracy was 60%. Now it has become 80%. So that will automatically start happening. You become stronger and stronger, and your capability starts becoming better and better. So that's where we will do the whole thing. So this is the basics. Now, when it comes to comprehension, see, one important skill is elimination. In the sense, you have 5 options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. You'll find that you're able to eliminate maybe this and this and this. But between this and this, you'll find that it is so close together that you don't know which one is the right answer. Okay, this becomes a major issue as far as your RC is concerned. And so elimination technique is something which is very important. The elimination, how to eliminate, becomes very important. Now, this is something which, if you look at a lot of coaching manuals and coaching institutes, they talk about this quite a lot. This is extremely important. And there are various methods that they talk about. Each person has got their own theories, and some of the important ones I remember is something like Bain from Terry Launcher. Then there is mathematical approach. There's a lot of things that they do. But then see, these things are all work beautifully, extremely well, when you have something known as a context. Okay, you need to have this does not work independently in isolation. You try this on an RC, it will not work. You'll not know this is actually broad, and this is alien, this is narrow, this is extreme. So these are the short words for that. But you will not know how to use them if you don't have a context. So today, what are we going to talk about is how to create a context for RC passages. If you're able to create this context, then this elimination becomes easy. Your comprehension becomes very good. This becomes good. When this becomes good, elimination becomes easy. And once elimination becomes easy, then you will find that arriving at 2 options become easier. You'll probably be, with critical reasoning skills, you will be able to pick up the right option more often than not. So this is the path that we take. So here today, we are going to talk about how to create context. And what we'll do today is, I will talk about the theory of the context, and we'll do 3 passages, 3 articles. Okay, I've chosen 3 articles. One is an easy one. I'll not tell you from where it is. After doing the article, I'll talk about from where I picked it up. And one is of medium, one is easy, the other one is medium, and the last one is quite difficult. Okay, so these 3 articles we'll go through today, and we'll try and fix the context here on base whatever we have learned today, so that you actually understand what I've been talking about. Because see, okay, now I think okay, I'll stop for the time being. If there's any question, please ask. I'm talking about context. That is what we are talking today. 3 articles we'll look at. Any questions till what we have done, till what we have discussed today? because this is an extension of what we talked about in the previous class. There are a lot of people who are there in the previous class. Some who are not there, you can go back to what I talked about. You can just take, that I've sent snippets also, which means you don't have to probably see the whole thing. You can see it in pieces also. I don't want to go through all what I discussed on that day because it will be a repetition. I might as well go directly and talk about comprehension. Okay, so I've put it in the group. Henceforth, these things will not come in the group. This will see after any of my classes within 4 or 5 days. I have to do the editing and basic things. So which means a 2-hour thing might actually come down to about 1.5 hours, and that will be put up in the student area within 3-4 days. Then. So that is what is going to happen. So this class will come in your student area in about 3-4 days. Then when I say student area, the test funder thing is taking a bit of time in the sense, coronavirus and those kind of things. So within a week, most probably all you guys will get the login for the materials on test funder, and the tests I think are going to start only in mid-April, the mocks. So broadly, this is it. So because of coronavirus, a lot of people are not working and those kind of things. So they are not able to do it. So within a week, I think the logins will start happening. You'll be able to log into that particular site and see all the materials. But today along the way, I'll show you the materials for reading comprehension, the various headings, and I'll show you the various headings for critical reasoning also. Right. Now, see, to give you an understanding as to what this context is all about, I will talk about another area, which is data interpretation, so that, it is easier to understand. What do you mean by context? Data interpretation. See, data interpretation, I mentioned this in the last class, was so if you're not able to do a data interpretation, how do you get to the first principles? So this is the first principles approach. How do you get to the first principles? Okay. Data interpretation basically means you have some graph given here. That might be a line chart, or you have bar graphs, something of the sort. But you need to understand that these graphs are formed from a table. A table gives you graph. That means a table containing data points. For example, let's say you have a student 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are students, and they have their age, and you have, let's say, marks. So you have these data points here, and with this, you can draw a graph like this, line graph. You can draw this, or with the marks, you can draw a pie chart. So, or like something that happened in the actual CAT, there was something known as a spider kind of a thing which came in the last CAT. Okay. Now, this graphs can be made as complex as you want. But if you get confused, what you do is you create this table. You create this table because the graph actually came from this table. You make this table, and you will find that the whole thing becomes easy. Okay, so now this is the point in going to first principle. But do you get the time to do this in the actual CAT? May not get. But when you start studying data interpretation, you'll have to use this methodology. That is when you start studying. Okay, and as you get comfortable, you will find that you don't have to form this. This is not required. You don't have to do this. You can directly do it from the graphs. And over a period of time, you'll find that making the table is a waste of time. It is a waste of time. But as soon as you see the graph, you will have a mental picture of the table. And you'll be able to solve it directly from the graph. And that is where your speed comes in. If you spend time trying to create a table, you will not do it fast. But initially, you'll have to form the table when you get confused. And then over a period of time, you'll start doing a DI directly from this. That is what I'm trying to say. Now, we'll come back to the RC. When we come back to the RC, you will find that initially, when you're looking at an article, it might take you even half an hour to probably go to the first principles. To whatever I'm talking about, it might take you half an hour. Or when you see an RC passage, it might take you about 10-15 minutes to do what I am talking about. But you don't have to do it in an actual mock. But then when you're doing an article, you have to go to the first principle and do it. Then over a period of time, what happens is you start getting a mental picture of what I'm talking about, and then you'll be able to do it directly. This approach becomes a second. It becomes a second nature to you, and you will be able to do the RC passages directly without doing the first principles. But you need to practice this first principles quite a lot as far as the RC is concerned, so that it becomes second nature. Okay, I'll stop here because this is something which I want people to respond to. Hardik, did you understand what I talked about? Hardik, are you there? Hardik?
Yeah.
Yeah, so which means, Hardik, what I'm trying to say is you just have to do this for a lot of articles. It becomes second nature to you. In the actual CAT, you may not have to do it. You will not do it. You don't get time for this. But it will help you to get a basic framework in your mind. I took the example of data interpretation so that, people who are comfortable with maths will understand what I'm talking about. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, for the time being, what I'll do is I'll just, take you through a PowerPoint presentation so that you understand this.
Can you give some example for RC, like first principle for RC?
Yeah, I'll be getting into the first principles of RC, and I'll be doing that for about 3 articles today. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. The first principles, all the first principles will not be get over today because, like I said, there are multiple principles that have to be done. We'll have to do them one by one. But I'll be starting the whole context, how to set the context today. Is that okay? Can you, are people able to see a PowerPoint presentation? Or anybody, Hardik? Or are you able to see?
No.
Okay, I'll just put that. And now you're able to see it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, how do you get to the context? It is always about purposeful reading. Most important thing is it is about getting into a writer's mind. If you get better and better at getting into a writer's mind, it becomes easy to comprehend and then use elimination techniques. Because when a writer is thinking of the article, he's got all the points in mind. He will know what is relevant to that passage, what is not relevant. And so it becomes far more easier to eliminate and then finally arrive at the right answer. So the basic setting the context means, broadly speaking, getting into a writer's mind. Once you have done that, then you should try and communicate what you have grasped, which could obviously by writing, or you could speak, whichever way, but then you should try and communicate what you have understood about the writer's mind. And then I've also talked about purposeful writing. There is absolutely no better skill for comprehension than writing fresh pieces that I talked about. You'll have to, for people who are weak, they'll have to do at least 1 or 2 articles per day. You have to follow this process and do 1 or 2 articles. And at the end of at the end of the week, write 1 or 2 pieces. And definitely, like I said, 1/800 piece I will go through every week so that I know where you're improving, how you're improving, what are the things that you have to keep doing. So you have to write pieces, which also I will monitor. This will all help you to get the context. Once the context is there, like I said, it becomes very easy to comprehend. Now, today what we'll do is, you'll know how to purposefully read. And once you know this context, you will know how to practice purposefully. So which means when you get an article in your hand, what is it that you're supposed to do with that article is what I'm going to discuss today. And this will be demonstrated today, like how to play your shots. See, what happens is, I take an example of cricket because I love cricket and I was a cricketer once. So suppose you have a problem in playing your cut. What do? Is you get a person to keep bowling outside the off-stump shot and you keep playing your cut on and on and on for 15 minutes until it becomes good. Or let's say you're playing basketball. You keep throwing the ball into the hoop from a particular distance until you get good at it. Or dancing. What happens is you go at home, you practice the same step over and over and over 100 times so that it becomes a part of it. So this is known as net practice or practice at home. This is now, how do you practice at home? That practice is what we're going to talk today. So that when you get an article, if you start practicing the right way over a period of time, your comprehension and your capability to eliminate and your capability to get into the writer's mind starts improving. So today, the basic focus is how to practice your sessions. Now, the most important thing as far as your RC is concerned, arriving at the structure. The first, like I said, you have in the DI, I talked about how you move from the graph to the table. The table is a basic design. So when an author is asked to write an article, or when an author decides to write an article, there is a seed. There's a thought process is behind. We have to go back to that. How do you go back? We work backwards. Okay. Now, when you start reading a reading comprehension, you'll find that a passage in the actual CAT, or when you read an article, you'll find that 50 to 60% comprehension is all that you have. You don't need to know the names. You need to see. If you start reading slowly, word by word, trying to figure out each and everything that is there, it's a waste of time. If you understand 50% of it, you have done a great job. Okay. Then, most important, the first sentence or couple will be a problem. For example, what happens is you have finished maybe one passage and you're getting into a new passage. You will find that your concentration is awry. You're not able to think properly. The first sentence becomes a problem. Then the second one becomes a problem. So it makes tremendous amount of sense to read that first two sentences, which actually are probably the most important sentence in the passage, because that sets the tone. That gives you an idea what is going to come in the passage. If you reread it even once or twice and really understand it and read it slowly, that makes a big difference. What people think is, I'll arrive at that later. People think reading speed is very critical. You have to read fast. It is not important. Actually, it is not very important. You will automatically start improving your reading speed after some time. But the first two sentences of a passage, even if sometimes people whose concentration levels are not at the best when they start a passage, you will have to reread it maybe a second time, and even sometimes read it very softly. I mean, you can't disturb people around you, but read it very softly. You will be reading it at the same time. You'll be listening to your voice. That will make sure that you understand that two sentences, which probably are the most important sentences, critically. And once that happens, then the rest of the things become easy, right? And you'll also find that along the passage, there'll be one or two very key sentences. You'll see that in the articles. One or two key sentences, which you might find it slightly difficult to understand, but understanding of that key sentence is very important. So you stop there, read it slowly, and probably read a second time. So maybe 4 sentences in a reading comprehension, maybe very critical, 4 or 5. You have to be reread twice to really understand. Now, there is something which is very interesting, which I always do when I read passages. I try to relate it with something which I've already experienced, and you'll find that you'll be able to do that. Especially, anything. I mean, something that has happened in your life, something which is related to your engineering course, something you have studied, some event that has happened in your life, or some of your own philosophies about the political environment in India. You'll probably be able to relate that. Once you relate that, then you have a context to relate it, and the reading becomes much faster. See, you need to enjoy this reading process, and you need to try and get an emotional connect there. If you can get that, I'm not saying it will happen always, but the moment you get that, you'll find that the passage becomes very easy to understand, because you always have reference point to help you connect. And as you'll find, as you read, try to predict what is likely to come. I'm not saying that you should do it consciously, but then, this is something that might be coming up. So initially my prediction might go wrong, but over a period of time, will get better and better. So when you start predicting what is likely to come, you'll find that, the things sink faster, your comprehension is much better. Now, why did the author write this passage? What was the intention? That is the purpose. Now, that purpose is probably the most important thing as far as this is concerned. And once you get the purpose right, then you'll find that a lot of these elimination techniques work very well. The problem why these elimination techniques don't work is, if you look at most of this, the way those the videos and the classes run, if they don't tell you to look at the purpose, then you'll find that most of these elimination techniques don't work. The purpose is probably very important. Purpose, then the main theme. What is the main theme? What is the main plot? And you have subplots. So all those things, see, this main, purpose, title, main theme, subplot, all those things will be discussed in depth in the subsequent classes. But this is probably one of the most important things to really understand in arriving at the structure or arriving at the context. Now, then you move on to okay, you are telling a story in the form of an article, you're writing something, or the author is trying to write something. You'll have to decide what kind of a style I have to use. Should I use anecdotes? Should I argue? And what style should I use? Should I use a satire, or should it be disparaging, or should it be angry? Should it be rebellious? So these kind of things you'll have to decide. And once that is decided, then that gives life to the whole, that gives life and emotion to the whole passage. Otherwise, it becomes a bland piece of writing. But then this whole emotions and all these things come with the style and the tone. And then along the way, you'll find that one or two key words will make a big difference, like transition words, like however, but, then in conclusion, all in all. So these kind of words are very important words, and that gives you a key idea and key. It makes you understand. Okay, this is somewhere I have to be very careful when I read, so that I understand it. I understand this part very better. Most of the times, every paragraph comes and conveys a key idea. Not always. Sometimes two paragraphs together might give you a key idea. Sometimes one paragraph will help you understand the key idea of the previous passage. That's how I will do. Now, this is, the one which I marked in yellow is what we will do today. Structuring the passage. It is like a lot of people know what a flow diagram is. It's like a flow diagram. You have a flow that is there in the particular article, and that flow is something that should form like a picture in your mind. You do this for about 40, 50 articles. You will find that when you read an article, a picture automatically starts forming in your head. You will find pieces of the puzzle forming in your head, and that becomes very, very important at a later stage when it comes to elimination and arriving at the right answer. So the structuring of the passage is what we're going to do, working backwards to how to structure the whole. Sometimes you can ask questions as you go. Why is this author bringing? Why is the author bringing this point? Now, this is something which happens naturally. I mean, I'm not saying that you do all these things consciously. Most of the things that I've talked about is not something that you do consciously. You do it consciously only when you practice. And when you actually go out to play the match, none of these things you should think consciously. It will happen naturally. I think some of you have played a game, or some of you who dance or do those kind of things. You'll realize that very conscious practice happens only at home. In the sense, when you're on your studio looking at dance, then you consciously practice your dance steps. Or when you are playing a game, or when you are, let's say, playing basketball, you very consciously plan and play your shots. But you can't do that in the actual game. The actual game, this should become a second nature to you. So all these points, what I'm talking about is not something that you consciously do when you're actually taking the test. You consciously do this slowly when you're actually practicing at home, looking at the articles, trying to figure out from the articles. That's when you do it consciously. And if you do this consciously over a period of time, the actual CAT, you'll do it unconsciously and will be a second nature. So this is something which is very important. Don't think that whatever points I've written is something that you do on the day of the CAT or when you're taking a mock CAT. You cannot do it. But when you have enough time, when you are reading an article, you read 1 or 2 articles per day. When you read that article, do this consciously because you have enough time. And that is not, there's no pressure on you. At that point of time, you need to do these things. So this is something which I've already written. You have become a purposeful writer. You have to write 1 or 2 articles every week, and one of them I'll keep processing. Okay. Then there are 2 fundamental questions people ask. Reading speeds, is it important? Reading speeds, I do not think it is important, because you have about 500, 400, 500 words that come up in an article, maybe 600 words max. And 600 words don't take more than 2 minutes to read, 3 minutes maximum, even for the slowest reader. And the questions nowadays are not something which, in the earlier days, CAT, it used to be a lot of fact-based questions. Now it is inference-based questions. So, and critical reasoning questions. So obviously your understanding is very important. You need to understand that even if your reading speed is not very good now, you don't worry about it. You keep doing this practice that I'm talking about, it will definitely improve eventually. Even Hardik 2 days ago, I mean, when we were talking, he also communicated as to how earlier it was not all that good. But now I'm sure he's been reading articles regularly. I'm sure it is improving now. His reading speed will definitely improve over a period of time, just because you're able to comprehend better, Just because you're practicing better, your reading speed will automatically be improving and you will do well in CAT. So don't consciously try to increase your reading speeds. It is not worth it. It will happen eventually when over a period of time. You've got 9 months time. Don't worry about reading speeds. Similarly about vocabulary. Okay. If you start reading your Barron's book or looking at all the 1,000 words or 2,000 or 3,000 words, it's a waste of time. You might never come across that word in the actual CAT. There's no point. What you need to do is, as you go along with the articles, any new word that comes up, look it up in the dictionary, try to remember that word, and then try to use that word somewhere. When you speak, even when you speak to your friends or this, or when you write something, try using it. Okay. Especially some of this, people are not very comfortable with RC should do at least 2 articles per day, including the Hindu. And you'll come across a lot of good words. And those you'll have to try using them in your writing and those kind of things. So these are things which I feel will happen eventually. You don't have to do conscious effort for them. You do whatever I'm talking about in terms of building the context, and then automatically things will start happening. I will stop for the time being. I think you need to understand the difference between the style of practice and what you do exactly when you take a test. Is this clear? The style of practice is what I'm talking about. What you do in the actual paper will automatically come because you have practiced it. Have people understood?
Yes, sir.
Hardik, have you understood? You understood this? What I talked about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, Shashank, you don't have to, you can just ask. You just unmute and ask.
Yeah, sir. Okay. So while reading, I sometimes got diverted, right?
Okay.
So for that, what can I do for this?
That means you get it diverted during the reading. Huh?
Yeah, right. If it is a long passage or something, or not in my interest area, so I got diverted. So
yeah, so basically what you get diverted because you're not able to get the context. They might see what happens is at some point of time you would have lost the flow, which means there in between some key sentences or something you did not understand. Then after that you don't understand. So when that happens, then you lose your concentration and your mind gets diverted. That is the reason why I talked about the first 2 sentences. The first 2 sentences, if you read them properly, even twice, even if it goes the 3rd time, is also fine, because you need to thoroughly understand the first 2 sentences, because that's where the whole passage starts. Now, in between, there might be one key sentence which you maybe read fast, you didn't understand. What happens is, because you're not understanding, that's why your mind, moves away. If you start understanding, then the article becomes interesting, and then you will start, you will be engrossed in it. So it is not, the diversion doesn't happen because of something else. It's because you have not properly understood at some point of time, and then your mind, then it goes off. Is that okay?
yeah.
Like I said, there are 4 or 5 key sentences in every article, every passage. That 4 or 5 key sentences actually define that passage. Those things will have to be read properly. And if you don't understand that, the whole passage will, your whole reading of that passage will be a waste. So along the way, you have to identify those key sentences and then read them properly. Your mind will not get diverted. And you should enjoy it also. Connecting it to emotional connect to it, linking it to something that you already know. All those things help in making it interesting. Anybody else? I will put this up in the WhatsApp group, so you can see. I think what you need to do is you should try and there will not be too many documents that I'll share, but then if I make any presentations and stuff like that, then I'll put it there. You try and download your WhatsApp onto your PC so that you can easily transfer it to some folder in your PC. Okay, I will share this into your into the WhatsApp group.